Hello everyone, thanks so much for watching our channel. If you like this video, go ahead, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks so much for watching.
Alright, it's September 18th, and this is usually the time of year that we get our frost in Fairbanks, and then usually when it goes from frost, it gets really cold soon thereafter, and it's not fun to work in the garden. So we are just at the point in the season that we're about ready to just start cutting everything down, making our final harvest. So before we did do a bunch of trimming around the yard and putting batter, I do like a end of season garden tour. So we just started on the deck. All of our tomatoes and peppers and giant tomatillos, they just turned into a giant block. Like they grew really well, and all the cherries got ripe, and most of the beefsteaks did not get ripe. So I wanted to show you some of them, like these Amish salad grape tomatoes. Even though they look like cherries, they got ripened. This dahlia, I can't remember the name, but whichever variety it is, it got really tall and had really small blooms. It's one of the blue ones. So it is actually valuable to know which variety of dahlia you have, because some, like this one got really big, and I'll just tell you, like, we had a phase in August where we had a bunch of wind, and I should have tied these cages to the fence, because some of this stuff, like, blew over. So that's another thing you might want to do, is, like, tie your cages up. But, and this tomato, this is the DRC 564, it's a commercial one, and it did actually probably put on just about the most tomatoes, red cherry tomatoes. So they're really pretty. They're nice. And as far as the bell peppers, I planted like commercial bell peppers along, and only a few of them grew much in red peppers. And we shouldn't have combined them with the tomato. We put a pepper, tomato, cucumber combos, and I think in the future I would just do tomatoes and a couple peppers and a couple different ones. And I would probably stick with hot peppers, like our jalapenos have made it. But I probably wouldn't bother with the bell peppers because they just do better than greens. But I would also, I don't know, honestly, I would 100% recommend growing tomatoes in the greenhouse over outside as well, because even though we have this hot deck here that got a lot of hot afternoon sun, it still had problems in the spring when it was cold, because we had a really cold May and early June right before it got hot, so it was hard to control the temperature. So I would still recommend growing tomatoes inside, even though if you're gonna grow tomatoes outside, grow cherry tomatoes, or grow some of the ones that are like specifically bred for cold climate production, you know, because I did commercial ones and it wasn't the best. Also, we didn't, because we just moved into this house, and I think was it in April, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't have time to start everything. So if you're going to grow tomatoes, start them far enough ahead that the plants get big enough. But you're also going to need some lighting to grow your starts, or buy them from a greenhouse, because I noticed one thing about this house. I thought, like, oh, there's all these windows. Oh, like, there's tons of light. But there's something about these newer windows that must prevent certain wavelengths of light or something. And so the plants didn't get enough light inside, so you'd have to put them out in the tan all the time. So it's one of our little dahlias. It's coming back now. This dahlia, I don't know if you know, Mystery Day. This one was a good one. It grew a lot of flowers and has had flowers throughout the season. So here's what it's called. It had one really super beautiful flower. Then I accidentally broke one off, and then this is only the third flower, and then these buds are coming. So it took the whole season. So that's another thing with dahlias, is that you need to start them. You need to get like the 3 or 5 gallon dahlias from the greenhouse and get big ones, or grow your own in the greenhouse, because they just take too long to get big, unless you have a different, maybe in certain years it'd be good, but in a cool spring like we had, it didn't work best. So, and this tomato, this is Tomagello, yellow ones, it has a good amount.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Marinero black tomato. It has some on there, but they're not ripe, just like all the recipe steaks. This jalapeno looks good. We also grew these standard Cherokee yellow wax beans. We grew some other beans. And they all did really well. Beans usually do pretty well. We had black cherry tomatoes. They did really well. And we had chocolate sprinkles. This is the Kelvin Sunlight Dahlia. It did really great, had a lot of blooms and really humongous blooms. The only thing is, when the wind blew, it's not very strong, so it's just like, it'll just snap. Like, you can see a couple of them have snapped over here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you do have to be a little careful about that. All of our vines did not do good. Like, we tried some different, like, morning glories, and they did not like the cool climate in the spring, and I planted a couple watermelon seeds. They did almost nothing, and we did some okra. They did almost nothing, which is all as you would expect. This is the Sweet 100 cherry tomato. It did pretty good. It's got a few.
Oh shoot!
There's
some in there.
Yeah, we grew these strawberries. These are Cabot strawberries that we planted at our other place. We thought they were basically not going to do anything, but they actually grew just by being weak little plants and produced some really good strawberries. So maybe next year we'll just do everything in strawberries. We also did a couple of Martha Washington. These were really great. The good thing about the Martha Washington geraniums is the blooms were just loaded on there. And even though they didn't grow excessively fast, they were just loaded with blooms. And after we trimmed those, they got blooms pretty quickly. So, for some of the little tomatoes, the Bucaro Black, same thing, put on a good amount of tomatoes, but didn't quite make it. The Marigold, put on a good amount of tomatoes, but just see, this is the chocolate sprinkles. See, it's got like the little striped. And one thing I noticed, see, another downside of growing your tomatoes outside is you can't control the irrigation. So when it rains a ton, they get a lot of water. And then I noticed a lot of the tomatoes get splits. So it's like another thing you can't do anything about. We have black cherry tomatoes. They're really good. This is Marisol Gold. It has a lot of tomatoes. We have Tanager and Sunfresh, which are kind of commercial beefsteak tomatoes. They grew good. These orange banana and Romas, they grew quite a few tomatoes on there. It's just we didn't have quite long enough season. And then this is Giant Cape Gooseberry. They grew really tall and big. But there again, it'd be nice. You get a lot more if you had a little heat and you had a little space in your greenhouse. So then our herb pots, honestly, we had a crazy summer and we didn't take the time to trim anything back. So this is like naturally how it is. So honestly, if I was going to grow tomatoes, I'd probably recommend doing like a dwarf tomato or a compact tomato so that you can just get all the tomatoes on there. It doesn't get so huge. Then the staking isn't such a big deal. But with the herbs, we let our cilantro go, and we've been thinking about turning it into coriander, but I don't know if it's worth it or not. And our herbs, they did great. They grew like crazy. We should have trimmed some stuff back, but we kind of just let them go. I would say every herb did really well, and I want to dig a few of them out that I think might be hardy. Maybe like this lovage and some of the mints, maybe some thyme. I'll plant them in the ground, bee balm, and then just see if they can overwinter in the ground. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we can do something with this lemongrass. So we don't have much season left to use some of our herbs, but well, we didn't get well, and I didn't talk too much about cucumbers, but the Itachi did really good. The Japanese cucumbers. The there was the what was the green one called? I can't remember.
Piccolino?
Oh, their Piccolino did good. The other small minis did good. The ones that didn't do as good outside were the European ones. Mojito was the other one. The lime green one. That one produced a few, but not excessive. But it really wasn't truly lime green. So it was kind of like, it was okay, but it was just like an off green color. So for us, maybe it's lime green in another climate, but for us, it was, I could tell it was different, but it wasn't like, oh wow, this is really cool lime green. It was like, oh, this is an off green. So, alright.
Okay, there's the deck. Okay.
Here's Kate's Petunia Caliber Crow baskets. They kind of like took a little bit of a hit with some aphids on the Calibrachoas early in the season, and I think they had a little bit of a nutrient deficiency. Then we did some fertilizer, and they kind of like, and after it got cooler this fall and the aphids went down, they got better, and they got a little bit prettier. But yeah, that's one thing I learned is like certain plants are really susceptible to aphids. If it's a bad aphid year, then you either need to do something to protect the plant, or like I tried like a little, I can't remember what it was, like some kind of little thing that was supposed to be like a pH thing, but it didn't really work to kill the aphids. But anyway, we did these mallows, and some of these things really attracted aphids. So they're pretty now, but they attracted a lot of aphids, had problems. And here's Kate's other Calibrachoa basket with petunias. And one thing good about petunias and Calibrachoa is they last longer into the fall. And I think another year they would have been really pretty. They just had a little bit of rough start. And then here you can see like our, what are these things called? Stock. They're kind of done, but that's typically how they work. They usually are like a spring thing for cool weather, and then they're done. So, this basket, this little mallow looks really good. And we had planted a combination of pink wave petunia and
where'd they go?
And a silver beacon lamium. And but the crazy thing is, waves usually take over, but in this case, it didn't. It was like, for some reason, I think the pH of the soil might have been high or something, and I think the petunia didn't like it. It got deficiencies, and then this thing grew better. So it's crazy. It's like this big old basket.
I know.
And this little planter works good. This little planter was good. We tried these little pom-pom birthday cake begonias, and they were nice in this little variegated thing. We might dig up some of these dracaenas and put them inside, but there was a fuchsia right there, but I think it got a little too wet.
I watered it too much.
We found the petunia of this thing, and it did not do good, so it's got to be shade plants in this area. And these have been really pretty throughout the year. They're starting to get a little bit, now that it's cooled off, I think it's a little too cool and a little wet, and they've been kind of slowly dying. But one thing I've learned is, like, under here in this bed, it's like it's very shady. So you've really got to get your baskets grown in advance. If you've got a really shady area, like, you can't grow the plants very much in the summer, like, so, like, the begonias didn't get very big. So if you want big begonias, you got to get them to grow, you got to grow the baskets in a greenhouse or something in advance, because the begonias will be big if you grow them big, and then they can just sit there and be big. But if you try to grow them in the shady spot in the cool spring, they just don't have the power to get big. So, and then this little set of ceramic pots. This is one of our best. We have different types of fuchsias and this variegated Dracaena.
I love these fuchsias.
These, I can't remember all the names, but the fuchsias did great. These guys did great. What are these called again? Nemesias. The Nemesias did awesome. Really filled in. And these dragon wing type begonias like really did good.
Awesome.
This one did too. I don't know if this one's Pegasus or one of the other. It's a different one, but it did really great. I noticed late in the fall it started getting like little weird spots. I think it's just the cool, moist weather. And then
Ooh, that looks nice.
these Euchras did really well. So yeah. We tried all these different types of begonias. Some did good, some did not as good, but I don't know that I had enough repetition to tell you for sure, like, oh, that the nonstop is really not as good as, I can't remember all the other ones we tried, but
Illumination.
yeah,
Wait,
Illumination. This one is Selenia, and stuff. But they all did pretty good, honestly. The geraniums did good.
And that finally bloomed.
This took a while, the Lophos wine red, but
Took a while.
too shady here. These did alright. And green ones did alright. So it's pretty good. It looked nice. I like a little more like firepower in my basket, so I like them to be bigger, but they did good.
Does this one smell? That's the lemon.
Actually, it does smell good.
It does?
The fragrant falls.
Yeah.
Lemon.
Fragrant Falls.
Does smell good, even with it being cool. And you can see this little print here. Rhubarb's pretty much done. This did really well. Some of the stuff got really growthy, kind of like typical stuff. Set of baskets. Same thing. The Dracaena, or no, this is a Cordyline, did really well. The Nemesias did well. These guys, the Euchras did, Corabels did well. These Dragonwing begonias are powerhouses for our climate. So, this one is, let's see. Oh, whoops, I guess. Oh, no, this is the Dragonwing Pink. So it did well. It's a big one. So, yeah, everything did really well, and I was impressed with the Nemesias. Because we grew those from little plugs, and they still grew out really well. So, the Rugosa Rose grew out a lot better this year, so it looks better. Lots of traffic noise. Oh, these dirt bikes. The peony did good. We had some wasps that came into this hole down here. We had a big wasp nest we found, so that was a whole thing.
Let's get a close up of the Rugosas. Let's see.
Here's one that's good.
There's one. Ooh, kitty, 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 kitty.
And
Okay.
Kate's been doing a great job with full on. She's been mowing it on a mid-range. We did a little bit of weed and feed, but mostly fertilizer, and the grass has been amazing. I like mowing it on a 4 because it looked really green and really thick, and if you just mow your grass when it's dry, try to use a sharp blade. Don't cut your grass too short, and it'll look a lot better. This grass has been amazing, so if you keep it healthy, fertilized, it'll hold down the weeds a lot better. So, and then I was just going to show you the orchard, which didn't turn out to be too much of an orchard. We mainly grew peas and cabbages and stuff. But, you know, the peas all did amazing. Love the peas. I'll just one follow-up. Like, I still love Lincoln and Early Frosty and Little Marvel. And Green Arrow and Lincoln were my favorites by far. But I'll just tell you on this Alaska pea, even though it's a little smaller, one thing I did notice about it is that, see, it's still got blooms. So it started blooming the earliest, and it's still blooming and has peas late. So there is one benefit that I didn't recognize with the Alaska pea is it's got a long bloom time, so you get a few peas spread over time. We did...
Where'd you go? How?
Basically an experiment with square foot gardening with cabbages, and it's like a 1 cabbage per 1 square foot in the square foot. So I'll just tell you that in Alaska, square foot gardening is not the way to do it because it's too thick. Because we did kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and we did some Swiss chard and kohlrabi, and it was just too thick in here. But the good thing was it held down the weeds. So
look how big and tall. Oh, sorry.
Everything got. And like one thing I like, if your broccoli goes to seed, or if it flowers out, one thing that's nice about it is you can actually eat it, and it's really good. The flowers are really sweet. So if your broccoli bolts, like, don't worry, you can actually still enjoy it. We have some celery. It did pretty well. The peas, all did great.
Oh, the celery?
Yeah, the celery is hidden back there, but we'll harvest it pretty soon.
You want to... I want to see.
Here's the celery. We didn't really plant it early enough, but it looks like it'll be good celery.
Yeah.
We just need to actually harvest it. And we left a few peas on for like seeds, but it's kind of hard to collect seed around here because it's so moist in the fall. And this little, let's see, I always forget which type of cherry this is, but it's oh yeah, the Crimson Passion. It had just a couple cherries this year. The Saskatoon had really good Saskatoons. The Honeyberry didn't produce. And there's a couple currants back there that grew a lot. So we're still considering putting our rabbits in here to see if they'll cut everything down for us. But I don't really want them to cut the trees down, so I'm still debating whether or not that's a good idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
okay.
And we can just walk straight over here.
Okay. No.
This was the wild raspberries. They produced some good raspberries, but it was weird. They got a disease. Like, at first they were really good and big, but then within a couple weeks they got this little rust, like orange rust, that made them not good. And we got a lot of high bush cranberries out of the woods. And then this is the Irish garden. It looked good. It's ready to be trimmed back. We planted our amaryllis bulbs here. And they didn't grow as good as we hoped.
This one looks, that one looks pretty good. Some of them don't, though.
But we'll dig up some of the bulbs, see how they did. Then we had some volunteer sunflowers from the bird feeder.
Yep.
And I've been extending this bed a little bit with some potting soil, so if anybody needs some potting soil, there's a bucket load back there. The beets did good. We still haven't harvested too many yet, only a few. So I'm hoping to harvest some pretty soon. Maybe in 2 weeks or something, we'll make some borscht or something.
Mm-hmm.
A few of them bolted, but so the corn was doing pretty good. But then the wind blew it over. So, and the one that wasn't the early variety didn't get there. The early variety, the early Sunglow, it's got corns, but they didn't fill out quite. So, well, it's close. It's close. We'll see what happens. The problem with Alaska is, and that we start in interior, we have good heat to start out with. They'll grow really good. They look like they're going to make it, but then a lot of times later in July, August, like the amount of heat isn't there. It starts to rain, and then they'll just sit there and sit there. And one thing I learned is that we planted them into this soft soil, but then that's where they tipped over when the wind blew. So it might be better to not grow them in really fluffy soil and raised bed. It might be better to have them in the ground. And our carrots did awesome. They've been
Pull
growing,
one up.
they've been growing
Let's
great.
see.
So this is the yellow one. So we did all this stuff square foot, and I think the beets were a little too close together. I should have just single seeded them. But the carrots, we did it in these little things. It worked pretty good. I still might have given them like a little bit more space because it is really tight. But by seeding them individually separated, you can get a lot better carrots because they don't twist around each other. But they are a little too thick, honestly.
Here, pull another one up here.
Okay, let's see what this one looks. Oh wow, that one is a weird one. Okay, let me see what else. I was trying to pull up something that looked good, but okay, there's another one.
Oh, nice.
So they did pretty good.
My battery's gonna die.
So just to finish this up, we planted a second set of radishes. It's still growing. We collected water, but we never used any of it because it just started raining. We didn't need it. And then our sweet peas did okay, but this mesh screen was too fine. And so they didn't cling very well to it, so they were tipping over. And also this didn't display them very well because the raspberries got so big. There's still a few raspberries. The potatoes did good. Oh, I just pulled the squashes out and harvested a few squashes. These wheelbarrow, it did pretty good, but we planted a bunch of different stuff in there, but pretty well the nasturtiums took over and the sunflowers.
Mm-hmm.
So always think about that when you're growing, is putting how aggressive the plants are, and because the most aggressive thing will take over. And so it's been a pretty good year. So we kind of learned that square foot gardening is not necessarily the way to go. You need to space things a little bit more to get ideal spacing and full, because it's a little better like on a root crop or anything. You need to give it enough space so that it has space to develop and everything. So yeah, especially with cabbages, cold crops in Alaska, you got to give them space. So everything did pretty good. Still don't recommend tomatoes and peppers for Alaska for the most part. You can grow them. Everybody loves to try it, and you get a few if it's good season. But I still think greenhouse is the way to go on that. But yeah, so it's been a good year. You can see the trees are all losing their leaves, and there's leaves all over the place. So we may only have a few more days of the growing season left. So normally it's been freezing around the 20th. So, but when we were out at Chena Hot Springs, there was a day that it froze. Like it was about this time of year that it was like we didn't have everything cleaned up, and then we started cleaning for like a week or two maybe, and then it was like it froze, it snowed, and everything was just frozen solid. Like it was right around the 20th of September, and then it snowed and it stayed on the ground, and we couldn't do any more work. So that's why I'm kind of thinking time to clean up, even if it's not going to freeze within a few days. It's better to get everything cleaned up and put away for the winter. So, yep. So anyway, there you go. End of season garden tour.